Time skip Boruto is absolutely broken. His training with Sasuke over the past 3 years has made him into one of the strongest characters in the Naruto universe, having the power to flatten Madara, Sasuke, and even Naruto himself.
Stop the cap!
Leave your nostalgia behind because have you seen this man? This guy turned Code into an absolute fraud, saying that he could just kill him at any time. But even worse than that, he roasted him, saying that he can't get any girls, so it's no wonder Ada ran away from him. But there's one question that everybody's wondering. Just how strong is Boruto? It's undeniable that this man has the potential to become a god in his own right, but to understand why this is the case, we must first go back and analyze just how strong he was pre-time skip, as he showcased some impressive feats throughout the series, surpassing Naruto at his age by miles. Like, this kid is super busted at 12 years old. I mean, to start with, Boruto has incredible chakra. Just to give an example of this, he was able to create 4 shadow clones before even entering the academy. In comparison, Naruto couldn't even form a single one when he started there. And this is because Boruto descends from 2 very, very strong bloodlines, the Uzumaki and Hyuga clan. Firstly, the Uzumaki are famed for their incredibly large chakra reserves, whilst the Hyuga on the other hand are renowned for their brilliant chakra control as a byproduct of training the Gentle Fist, which requires a perfect understanding of the chakra pathway system, something that Boruto himself has trained in. Now furthermore, Boruto is also extremely proficient in taijutsu, as he's able to perform relentless assaults through coordinated strikes from each of his limbs. But perhaps the biggest difference Boruto has from his father is his intellect.
What do you mean by that?
Now, no, I'm not calling Naruto dumb. It's just that it is kinda undeniable that Boruto is a much more strategic and calculated fighter like Sasuke was. Just for example, he created the Boruto stream all by himself at a very early age by combining the Gentle Fist with 2 shadow clones using Gale Wind to launch himself forwards towards an opponent. He's also very keen-minded, as he excels at reading a situation and quickly adapting to it, such as using his knowledge of the chakra blade, draining your chakra, to trick Ao into using it. He's also shown the intelligence and leadership to think things up on the fly, as we saw yet again in the fight with Ao when Boruto faced all of his drones, destroying them with paper bombs and shuriken infused with electricity, all whilst mid-air. It's things like that that made Inogen state that Boruto had a knack for flawlessly solving advanced problems. Thus, it became a staple in his fighting style, as it allowed him to gain the upper hand on the likes of Iwabe and probably a bit more impressively, Momoshiki. Praise like this though just hits different when it comes from the GOAT himself, Kakashi Sensei. During the Genin exam, he judged that Boruto was already on the level of a Chunin despite not even being a shinobi yet. Kakashi also later claimed that Boruto had inherited Minato's genius, which is proven with his proficiency in Jutsu. Heck, I'm pretty sure that Boruto's single-handedly responsible for tripling the size of the Rasengan's Wikipedia page. After all, he is a master of nature transformations, as he's mastered lightning, water, and wind release. And so by using his lightning chakra nature, he was subconsciously able to create the vanishing Rasengan. And just to put into perspective how crazy this is, just try and remember that Kakashi tried to do this himself but failed and just made the Chidori instead. It's a jutsu that has seen Boruto cause serious damage to even Otsutsuki level threats such as Boro, and even kill one as seen with Momoshiki when combined with Naruto's giant Rasengan. But all that was just the beginning, as Boruto has created and used 2 other Rasengans during this time period. The first was the wind style Rasengan, and just like Naruto's Rasen Shuriken, this one has wind chakra nature attached to it, just it's green for some reason. I don't really know why actually. He figured out the secret to creating it by himself and needed just a single shadow clone to create it in 1 hour compared to Naruto's couple of days. But more importantly is the second one, the high compression Rasengan. This technique has incredible power, much more than just your regular Rasengan, but because of it there is a big downside, as this Rasengan is so destructive that it also hurts the user when attacking an enemy through recoil, and it's all thanks to the fact that the chakra being rotated is compressed more and more until it becomes powerful enough to even break through diamond, meaning it easily is Otsutsuki level, as it literally saved Sasuke's life in the battle against Ishiki and even ended deeper. However, now that Boruto is older and ever so much wiser, his mind has begun to sync up with Momoshiki's, as their thoughts have become one and the same. Thus, Boruto should also be able to utilize the Rasengan, a jutsu similar to the compression Rasengan that can be fired as a bullet used by Momoshiki against code. And so, judging by how Momoshiki learned to use the Rasengan through Boruto, there's no reason why it shouldn't work the other way around too, now that their consciousnesses are linked. In fact, such resonance with Momoshiki could even give Boruto access to a Rasengan that he was previously told would be impossible to learn by Kakashi, the giant Rasengan. Boruto may have held one before, but it was created using Naruto's chakra. Momoshiki, on the other hand, has conjured up this attack for himself on multiple occasions. And so with the two becoming one and the same, it's natural to assume that Boruto can create one of these at will now too. Oh, what's that? You thought we were done with the Rasengans? Wrong! With chapter 2 of Two Blue Vortex, Boruto realized that just creating new Rasengans wasn't enough, and so he had to become the Rasengan. And so he created Uzuhiko. I'm confused! You see, the word Uzuhiko refers to space and the universe, and as we can see, this power wraps around Boruto's body, literally making him into the Rasengan. From an outsider's perspective, this technique looks like only wind chakra, but it's clear that it's some sort of an invisible cloak similar to the vanishing Rasengan. This new jutsu is a testament to his time spent training with Sasuke, as it shares many similarities to a variation of the Chidori that he created during his time spent with Orochimaru after leaving the village, Chidori Nagashi. What I'm trying to say here is that this may well be the ultimate offensive and defensive technique. And talking of Sasuke, during his 3-year time skip back in the day, he created many variants of the Chidori paralleling Boruto's creativity. And so with the two now bashing their heads together, there's no telling really what new powers Boruto has created as a trump card. One we know for certain though automatically makes him one of the most broken characters in the series. But let's be honest, he was anyway. What is this power though? Balls Deep Prediction Jutsu. You heard that right, Boruto can see the future, and it's all thanks to his Karma Seal. Implanted on him after defeating Momoshiki, the Karma was a mark that would slowly transform Boruto's human cells into that of an Otsutsuki, so that Momoshiki could rewrite Boruto's DNA and take his body for himself. However, after Momoshiki had to use his DNA to heal Boruto's body following his death against Kawaki, that is now impossible, meaning his karma is nothing more than a weapon for Boruto to utilize. And boy, is it one hell of a powerful one. When activated, the karma grants Boruto enhanced physical speed, strength, and jutsu power. This is because those bestowed with it also take on their Otsutsuki's entire combat experience, immediately making them a seasoned fighter. And this is what is known as the karma's true essence. Like I said, there's more than just Momoshiki's experience that he has access to, as it's also his thoughts. And because of this, Boruto can take advantage of Momoshiki's ability to see the future. That's right, this guy is a prophet. We all remember that Momoshiki used this ability to predict Kuruma's death when he said it was a shame that Naruto would never be able to pass on such a great power. Furthermore, he saw Boruto's downfall, which is when he got a first glimpse of the future too. But this ability is also useful for Boruto in combat, as seen in chapter 80 when Momoshiki peered into the future to help him escape certain death against Sage Mode Mitsuki. Now, during his 3-year time skip, Boruto seems to have learned to master this ability more. He talked to Code about how his Ten Tails will eventually lose control and won't stop its rampage after merging with their Otsutsuki target. Boruto literally says that this will be the worst future anyone can imagine. This foresight ability is probably the most OP we've got in the entire series. The only thing that has come close to something like this before is the Sharingan's ability to see the flow of an opponent's movements moments before they make them. Boruto's out here looking days and months into the future. Now, whilst you may just say that Sasuke told him what the Jubi can do, the fact that Boruto just straight up said it's the future along with the future we readers know from chapter 1, I think it's safe to assume that Boruto probably knows what he's talking about. And no, delete your comment, don't even post it. He didn't travel back in time and watch the Kaguya fight, okay? Think, Mark! Now, if you add the Jogan on top of this, it's no wonder that Boruto is stating code without limiters is an absolute joke to him.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's good.
This Shinjutsu is the pinnacle of all eyes. Boruto awakened this power at just 8 years old, and it's something we have never seen before in the Naruto universe. In fact, it's rare even amongst the Otsutsuki clan, causing Urashiki to label it a big problem. However, at such a young age, the power was way beyond Boruto's control, only activating in front of dangerous threats, or just when the writers wanted it to. In spite of that, episode 1 revealed to us that in the near future, Boruto will master its power and be able to activate it at will. He has this power because Momoshiki stated that he inherited strong Otsutsuki genetics from his parents. But on top of that, Naruto possessed Hagoromo's chakra, whilst Hinata had hammers when they banged. Urashiki then told Tsuneri that he knew he accelerated the process of Boruto activating his eye and sent him a message that your eye is the star of hope. The power of hope slumbers deep within you against the destruction that will eventually come to pass. Furthermore, the reason it's called the pure eye because it's the purest form of the Otsutsuki powers that have been diluted over time in the human race. Because of this, it shares powers with each of the 3 big dojutsu and even Ada's Senrigan. For example, it grants the ability to detect things such as chakra, generally unseen by normal eyes, as well as negative emotions, meaning that Boruto can perceive the flow of chakra and even the Tenketsu, much like the Byakugan, which he previously lacked when training in the gentle fist style we mentioned earlier. He can also use it in a similar way to the Sharingan, as seen when Boruto read Momoshiki's muscle movements to determine his attack so that he could easily dodge and counter it, much to his shock. Moreover, Boruto has used it to see through invisible barriers, much like when Pain used his Rinnegan to look through the barrier surrounding Konoha in chapter 419 of Naruto. However, this time Boruto took it to the next level, as he could see through entirely different dimensions, as he could not only see where Urashiki was before appearing through his portal, but after defeating Nue, he used it to peer back to Konoha to see what his friends were doing in real time, much like Ada's Senrigan's surveillance ability. But despite all this, we've still never seen the Jogan in the manga. Still waiting.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
But I'm sure things will soon change though, as Kishimoto himself has confirmed that he personally worked with the Boruto staff when they worked on the beginning episodes of the series, which focused primarily on the Jogan. This means that he must have given it the green light for it to go ahead, right? Therefore, he must have plans to utilize it in the story, right? Please? The truth is though that even without it, based on just what we've seen in the manga, Boruto's already the strongest shinobi to ever live. Because let's just look at the facts here, right? Which is the same amount of time between Boruto and Two Blue Vortex. This is confirmed by code, as we learned that a year after Boruto and Sasuke left the village, they were attacked by him. And now the two are reuniting with each other 2 years later. By the time Naruto came back to Konoha, he and Sasuke had learned pretty much everything their senseis could teach them. And so the point I'm trying to make is that Boruto was already really strong as a kid, and after that much training with Sasuke, he is far surpassed him, and the proof is in the pudding. Remember that code without his limiters is stronger than Jigen, the same person that destroyed Naruto and Sasuke at the peak of their power, stated by Amado himself. I mean, just look at this guy, right? He's a master swordsman like his sensei and is able to cut through multiple of Code's 10 Tails army, whereas Kawaki got absolutely pummeled by one. Now, if it's not clear to you guys yet, Boruto is clearly stronger than Kawaki at this point, as he was trained by a god tier ninja, whilst Kawaki was probably trained either by himself or maybe Mitsuki? But let's be honest, seeing how he treats other people, I'm gonna guess it's the former. Now, I suppose there is the chance that Amado increased the power of his artificial karma, but even that doesn't really matter. And that's because Boruto has adapted to Momoshiki's abilities and Shinjutsu. First, let's just have a quick recap what exactly Shinjutsu even is. It translates to divine technique. They are chakra-based techniques at the highest level in the universe which require no hand seals. These abilities allow the user to perform literal acts of God, as seen with Ada's omnipotence, which harnessed one of the many abilities of Shibai Otsutsuki. And it's very likely that Boruto has become akin to these god-like powers. What? What the fuck? Yep, you heard me. As we know, Boruto is now 100% Otsutsuki and has been for years now. It's likely that a pivotal part of Boruto's training with Sasuke revolved around him mastering his karma. So it's natural to assume that he has started to master Momoshiki's abilities just like Kawaki has with Ishiki's Daikoku 10. Hence why Boruto has become better at looking into the future for himself to understand the power of the Ten Tails. So let's go over some of Momoshiki's other abilities to see all the potential ones that Boruto now has. A good place to start would of course be his dojutsus, being both his Byakugan and Rinnegan. We know already that Boruto can use the Byakugan as seen when he faced Code, thus it should give him Momoshiki's telescopic vision and a near 360-degree field of perception. However, what's really interesting, something we've not seen yet, is that he also had the two Rinnegans on his hands. Yep, that's right, Boruto's about to have eyes on his hands like he's some kind of JJK curse at this point. What the fuck? Interesting about these Rinnegans specifically though is that his right eye is able to absorb any chakra-based techniques, much like Boruto's karma, whereas the left eye can utilize those techniques and release them with a much higher output of power. He can then turn targets into pills, which when eaten grants Momoshiki extended youth along with that person's chakra and techniques. Basically, he's the all-for-one of Naruto. Now, Boruto is out here not even wanting to put his karma seal on someone, so the likelihood of him turning someone into some paracetamol is pretty low. But if Kawaki is allowed Ishiki's eyes, it'd be rude not to give Boruto what he's rightfully owned. But hey, you never know what could be hiding under that glove of his, Now, if you want to enjoy more peak fiction, then I hear this video on your screen is a pretty good place to start.